chapter 18. He that separateth himself seeketh his own desire, and snarleth against all sound wisdom. A fool hath no delight in understanding, but only that his heart may lay itself bare. When the wicked comes, there comes also contempt, and with ignominy reproach. The words of a man's mouth are as deep waters, a flowing brook, a fountain of wisdom. It is not good to respect the person of the wicked, so as to turn aside the righteous in judgment. A fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calleth for strokes. A fool's mouth is his ruin, and his lips are the snare of his soul. The words of the whisperer are as dainty morsels, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. Even one that is slack in his work is brother to him that is a destroyer. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it, and is set up on high. The rich man's wealth is his strong city, and as a high wall in his own conceit. Before destruction, the heart of the man is haughty, and before honor goeth humility. He that gives answer before he hears, it is folly and confusion unto him. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a broken spirit who can bear? The heart of the prudent gets knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. A man's gift makes room for him, and brings him before great men. He that pleads his cause first seems just, but his neighbor comes and searches him out. The lot causeth strife to cease, and parteth asunder the contentious. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. A man's belly shall be filled with the fruit of his mouth. With the increase of his lips shall he be satisfied. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that indulge it shall eat the fruit thereof. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a great good, and obtaineth favor of the Lord. The poor uses entreaties, but the rich answereth impudently. There are friends that one hath to his own hurt, but there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. All right, let's go back up to verse 1. Continuing in these Proverbs of Solomon, Proverbs that give us a little sound mind, some sound wisdom, some sound understanding, because it comes from the Lord. And really it's the sound. That sound is the word of the Lord. That's his law and his understanding. He gave it to us all. And it's about respect, and it's about the recognition of others. We're not alone here. We live with a multitude, and we're all going to have to find a way to get along. And the Lord just wants to make a simple covenant. It's a very simple thing. And we sometimes lose sight of this. But these Proverbs help us, keep us in our path if we use them to meditate on, and if we read these things and we get some understanding from us, it'll instruct us in the ways that are going to be correct. We're going to pick them up here in verse 1. He that separates himself seeks his own desire, and snarleth against all sound wisdom. And the one that separates himself pulls himself out to make himself different. He seeks his own desires. He seeks to be like himself, maybe not like everybody else. Maybe everybody else is not acceptable to him, and he's trying to find out the reason. We'll find out why it's just like it is. One must separate himself in his knowledge and his wisdom, and he snarleth against all sound wisdom. This word snarleth, he's contention. He's going to find out what the truth is, really. Find out, lay it bare, make it known exactly what is this sound wisdom. And we'll find out. The Lord told us what it was when we started. 2. A fool hath no delight in understanding, but only that his heart may lay itself bare. Now a fool, that once again is that one who's always messing up. He's the guy that makes all the mistakes in life. He's got no delight in understanding. He's never learned from where his mistakes, and he don't listen to nobody that says, hey, you keep messing up over and over. But, and it's only for one thing. It's to lay his heart bare, to make himself known, just who he really is inside. And that could be a problem. There's no pleasure in the wicked. 3, when the wicked comes, there comes also contempt. And with the ignominy, reproach. And when the wicked come, this is in their coming, when they come forth, or in their presence, there comes also contempt. Here comes trouble. Here comes problems. Here comes the wicked. See, it's always a trouble when they're around. There's always a problem going on. And with this ignominy, the word is kalon, and what it means is disgrace, to be shamed, public humiliated, dishonored. These ones just everybody knows. I mean, everything you've done spoke for itself. And this is really who it is. We don't have to point no fingers. We don't have to point fingers and say, oh, it's this guy or that guy. It's enough that we just talk about these situations in the presence of. For the words of a man's mouth are as deep waters, a flowing brook, a fountain of wisdom. Yeah, the words of a man's mouth can be these deep waters. Deep have great meaning. Waters I always use as understanding. It's deep. It has it can be deep as the oceans are deep and even deeper. Its knowledge of the bottom would be as deep and that below, and knowledge keeps going. It goes in all directions. It's a flowing brook, a fountain of wisdom. It's a flowing brook, pleasant waters that we can take of. This fountain of wisdom is, and we're going to find out it's the law. It always has been. 5. It is not good to respect the person of the wicked, so as to turn aside the righteous in judgment. It's not good to respect the person of the wicked. Wicked is just what wicked does, and you're not supposed to be a respecter of persons, period. And to condone wickedness, to not set in place that judgment of that which is correct, it would be wrong. 6. In other words, there's a consequence for your actions. There always will be. 6. A fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calleth for strokes. A fool's lips always get him in trouble, causing him problems. There's that contention, these troubles, these problems, this affliction he's under, and his mouth calleth for strokes. It calls for punishment. That's what he's doing. What he's pouring out into the life itself is saying, I need somebody to whoop me. But that's not what really needs done. But, it calls for punishment. 7. A fool's mouth in his ruin, and his lips are the snare of his soul. A fool's mouth is his ruin. That's what's always getting him in trouble, this guy. He's always making these mistakes. He's the idiot, I call him. He can't do nothing right. His lips, they become the snare of his soul. That's what his mouth's saying. Is what now he's snatched down. Everybody thinks this is who he is. This is not who you want to be. 8. The words of a whisperer are as a dainty morsels. They go down into the innermost parts of the belly. The words of a whisperer. A whisperer is a talebearer. Somebody goes around behind your back saying things about you, a secret spreader. And the words are like these dainty little morsels. Of course, it's always something not good that's flavored up. and it goes down into the innermost parts of the belly. We'll find out and it stays there. Now, this could be part of your perception, and that's what we got to watch out for. 9. Even one that is slack in his work is brother to him that is a destroyer. One that is slack in his work. There's that lazy guy. He don't want to do nothing. The only thing he wants to do is start trouble. He's brother to him that is a destroyer, the one that comes, and all he wants to do is tear up and destroy things, and they all come from one house, and this is the comparison we get. They are of one understanding. It's trouble, problems, tear up, destroy, make contention wherever you go, and it's to fight against the understanding of the Lord that he gave us in the first place. 10. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it, and is set up on high. The name of the Lord, that's that name. Hashem, the name. That holy name, we set it aside for our own use. It's a strong tower. Why? It represents the law. It represents his ordinances and his statutes that he said. No, something we all understand. It's common knowledge. It's common understanding. Righteous run into it. The righteous, those that are correct, that's where they go. They're going to seek shelter there. What have they done wrong? Where has the law convicted you? It's set up on high. It's exalted above all the other things, and we'll find out. It proves your innocence as well as your guilt. 11. The rich man's wealth is his strong city, and as a high wall in his own conceit. And a rich man, wealth is his strong city. That's where he's going to take refuge. He's going to fall up into the money. And we'll find out that's his high wall. He's built it for himself. We'll find out it doesn't get you nowhere, though. It's in his own conceit. And that's his own pride. His own, the words of McKeith, imaginations. We can look at it like that. That's in his own imaginations and his own understandings. That's kind of like an idol to him in the sense that he makes it for himself to take refuge in. 12. Before destruction, the heart of a man is haughty, and before honor goeth humility. Now, before destruction, the heart of a man is haughty. He lifts himself up in pride, and we know anytime you get yourself lifted up, it's going to be it's a little fall back to the ground. And before honor goes humility. Before honor goes humility. One that humbles himself, gets himself honor in the end. It's a really simple understanding. 13. He that gives answer before he hears, it is folly and confusion unto him. And this one that gives answer before he hears, sometimes we've all made this mistake. We think we know what the person's going to say, and we try to cut them off with an answer, and in the end, it's not what it was about at all. Some people started in a way to come around the bush, and I call it to beat around the bush a little bit with some words and then get to the facts. And sometimes if we try to beat them to that, we'll find out we missed the point. And it's just confusion. It's folly. It's a mistake. Don't do that. It's easy to correct yourself from these things. 14. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a broken spirit who can bear? The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity. And that's your fortitude, my friend, that spirit that's within you, this one that either who you are, it's who you are. A lot of times there's those meek and weak, and there's those that are strong, and this spirit that makes us strong, this one that gives us this fortitude within us, it can sustain our infirmity, our sickness, our disease, our disabilities. But a broken spirit, who can bear it? Doesn't matter how strong you are. You can't bear it up, this broken spirit. And to be broken is one that just isn't whole. Once again, we have to have some knowledge and wisdom and understanding to become whole. 15. The heart of the prudent gets knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. The heart of the prudent, that inner understanding, that fiber that makes you up, that one beating, living thing within you, of the prudent. Prudent's somebody who's going to use a little bit of intelligence. Somebody's going to think about things. So he's smart, crafty, got a little understanding about him. He gets knowledge. He goes around looking for it. He's trying to learn it and get this right so he can have it easy, get some rest out of life. But the ear of the wise seeks knowledge, and that's what its tastes for, is that true understanding. Knowledge, that's the law. The Lord gave it to you in the beginning. 16, a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. A man's gift, this gift we're talking about, is if he's got some good talent, great talent. We all have a talent. We all are who we are for a reason, for a purpose. And sometimes we have to find that purpose. Sometimes we say, well, my purpose, I ain't got no great purpose. Well, sometimes your purpose can be greater than you'll ever know. Just a single word to a single soul sometimes can bring understanding. 17, he that pleads his cause first seemeth just, but his neighbor comes and searches him out. This one that pleads his cause first, he always wants to make his point, his case, get it out of the way. He ain't willing to wait and listen to somebody else's side of the story, but he wants to make his, get his up right. Then a neighbor comes and searches him out, finds out. It's through questioning, through investigation, we find out the truth. We don't just take the first story that comes along. A lot of times today, that's just what happens, though. The truth is one-sided today. One's already considered right. The other, we're going to have to prove. Should be the other way around. 18, a lot causes strife to cease and parteth asunder the contentious. The lot causes strife to cease. The lot. That's a method of like drawing straws. Roll the dice, who gets the highest number, whatever you want to look at it. This lot, because it seems to cause the strife to cease. It ends the trouble and ends the contention. We'll just both decide to let this happen, and there we get this problem goes away. It parteth asunder the contentious, and that goes between them. And we're going to find out that lot's pretty simple to figure out on whom the lot fell. 19. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. And that's truth. A brother offended. That's one of the same understanding as you have. When you offend those, they're harder to be won or harder to be won back. They're not going to like you no more. You're going to have to prove yourself again. And we want people to trust. We want people to love us. That's our desires for this relationship. And sometimes we have a little trouble accomplishing it, especially with those of our family. And their contentions are like these bars of a castle over the windows to keep out. And we'll find out it's hard to get back in of this place that you desire to be. And that's within somebody else. That's within somebody else. And be pleasant within them so that they will love you. 20. A man's belly shall be filled with the fruit of his mouth. With the increase of his lips shall he be satisfied. A man's belly shall be filled with the fruit of his mouth. That we partake of our own work. We partake of that which we pour out into the earth. And this belly that we're talking about is that which gives us this fulfillment in life, to be who we always want, who we most desire to be. That's our self, and be acceptable to others. This, and with this increase of his lips, he shall be satisfied. That's what he's going to do in life. That's what he's saying. That's what his true speech is. That's what's going to satisfy him. 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that indulge it shall eat the fruit thereof. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. That which worketh in the mouth, and what we pour out in life. And it'll show up It always does. We want to say the right thing, and we want to try to live by the words we speak. Don't speak evil and go accomplish it. You're not going to get anything in the end. Those that do the right thing, that do the correct thing, because see, death and life are in the power. It's up to you, my friend. The choice is yours. You have to choose life. It's a choice you have to make. 22. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a great good, and obtaineth favor of the Lord. Whoso findeth a wife, a companion even, a friend, a spouse, a love, a wife is more than just a woman who you're married to. They are a greater part, and in an understanding, what they are is just that, and they are a good understanding. And that's how we know the favor of the Lord, because they have a good understanding. 23. The poor uses entreaties, but the rich answereth impudently. And the poor uses entreaties out of humility, using these greetings, pleasant words. But the rich, they answer impudently. They answer out of their pride. They answer like they're in charge. And that's good in some times, and it's not always the good thing, though. It's not always the right way. There's times to take charge, and there's times to be quiet and listen. 24. There are friends that one hath to his own hurt, but there's a friend that sticks closer than a brother. There are friends that one hath. It's to his own hurt. These ain't friends. That's confusing in the understanding. They don't do nothing but cause you trouble. You hang out with them. All they want to do is get in trouble and do things that ain't right. This ain't a friend, my friend. But there is a friend, and he sticks closer than a brother. It's one who stays closer to you than your own brother, one of your own family, one of your own understanding. He comes from, and we'll find out. It's a true companion. And that's the kind of relationship we want with the Lord. That friend, that companion that's closer than a brother, even our own understanding, because the Lord is the one to give us our understanding even in the beginning. Let's move forward. Proverbs 19. Turn and return.